BPD fam, it is me, Big Papa D. And unexpectedly, we're back here for some more. I made a bunch of videos yesterday. And come to find out today that a bunch of artists dropped new songs. So before I watch my Steelers, my beloved Pittsburgh Steelers, Steeler Nation, I figured I'd make these videos and get them out to you probably tomorrow or very shortly thereafter. Before we get started with all the festivities, if you're not yet a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. Right now we're looking at about 5,500 subs. Our goal is to hit 20,000 before the end of the year, and I know we can do it. Hit the like button, hit that notification bell so you're notified of future videos. Comment down below if you have any requests, suggestions, or just feeling generous. Super thanks is available on most of my videos. Or you can join our beloved Patreon family. Patreon, you'll get exclusive content, videos that don't make it here on YouTube. You'll get early access to all my videos that I release here on YouTube. You'll get requests based on the tier level you choose. You'll get pretty responsive DMing with me. I get back to you in a very timely manner, sometimes instantly. It's still a 7-day free trial going on there, so give that a shot. Okay, today we got our buddies Tom and Adam back at it with another patriotic song. This, I like how Tom's doing this now. The last song was released on Tom's page. This song's released on Adam's page. This is off their upcoming album, The Brave 2. Back-to-back patriotic songs in a couple weeks. Tom and Adam are on a mission to spread truth. They're on a mission to spread, free speech. And they're on a mission to get every single reactor canceled before the album drops. Oh, not from what they're saying, because they're, they say what they want, and Tom hasn't been canceled yet, and neither is Adam, so I don't think they're getting canceled. But as reactors, we love to go in depth on the subject matter, and that's a slippery slope. That's a tightrope that we have to walk. So I'll do my best to give you my thoughts, but yet not get removed from the from YouTube. So without any further ado, we have Your America. Barn, got some sheet metal going there. Okay. And what I like about it now is on the Brave 1, they were in separate places. Now, granted, this is still like 2021 when there were still COVID restrictions, but being able to see these guys together, film together, the videos together is pretty cool. All right, so here we go. Tom MacDonald, Mr. Adam Calhoun, Your America.
They're screaming that they hate America and we're the reason. If you don't feel safe, then stop defunding the policemen. You calling us extremists cause our words have hurt your feelings, and we're sorry we can't hear you over the sound of our freedom. Y'all been filling up our classrooms with drag queens for kids. We think it's not appropriate, you tell us that it is.
Was that Sound of Freedom bar? All I'm going to say about Sound of Freedom is the fact that there's people protesting a movie that's anti-child trafficking is just crazy to me. And I know arguments are nuanced, but it's just not a good look. It's really not a good look. Let's back it all the way up.
They're screaming that they hate America and we're the reason. If you don't feel safe, then stop defunding the policemen. You calling us extremists cause our words have hurt your feelings, and we're sorry we can't hear you over the sound of our freedom. Y'all been filling up our classrooms with drag queens for kids. We think it's not appropriate, you tell us that it is. The complexities of gender and children.
The fact that needs to be said. Bizarro. Absolutely bizarro.
we're sorry we can't hear you over the sound of our freedom. Y'all been filling up our classrooms with drag queens for kids. We think it's not appropriate, you tell us that it is. The complexities of gender and children won't ever mix when there's school shootings by women whose pronouns are him, his. I'm not Republican, but keep it 100, they making sense. The most destructive ideologies are coming from the left. I think Black Lives Matter, they think white lives matter less. And LGBTQ turned into WTF. Dear Democrats.
All I'm going to say about that is it's not a zero-sum game. And that's a lot of sometimes the game we play. Just because one is true doesn't mean the other isn't. But I can see his perspective that it seems that way in the way things are being pushed. But I just, the counter argument to BLM, the movement, not the organization, always was confusing to me because it's not a zero-sum game. Just because something is true doesn't mean then everything else is the opposite of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the arguments we can stay out of. It's one of the arguments that isn't necessary. But I understand where he's coming from. It's not the fact, it's just the implementation of that.
White lives matter less, and LGBTQ turned into WTF. Dear Democrats, I don't have nothing against the liberal, but the people representing you are communists and criminals. They've been starting World War III, we shipping missiles still. They don't want America great, they want it miserable.
To be fair, they're all criminals, both sides, Republicans and Democrats. I think there might be more people on the Republican side, and it's still just a handful that actually care about the country and what's good for everyone instead of their own self-interest. But 90% of those people in Washington are out for themselves, period. It's two sides of the same coin. It's a game they're playing. Just like they're dividing us with all the social stuff, they're also dividing us with, oh, look, we're different, and when they're not much different. I'm going to be honest with you. But they are communists. Straight out. Well, I'm not all of them, but there's a good bit of them that are.
Matter less, and LGBTQ turned into WTF. Dear Democrats, I don't have nothing against the liberal, but the people representing you are communists and criminals. They've been starting World War III, we shipping missiles still. They don't want America great, they want it miserable. You can try to burn down the city, scream at the top of your lungs till you're dizzy. You can cancel everything and everybody in it, but it's not your America.
Sorry to interrupt. Keep interrupting. There's just so much here. Number one, a Tom Hook I like. Hit or miss with me. Like with everybody. The whole missile thing. I just saw a video the other day, and I didn't believe it, so I had to do the math myself. The amount of money we've sent to that one country over there that's having a fight with another country, if they pay back $100,000 a day, it would take like 3,000 years for them to pay back all the money they've gotten. And I was like, there's no way that's true. And I did the math, and yeah, it's true. And that's not even counting interest. That's not counting compounding interest and everything. That's insane. And the amount, what we could have done with that money, I mean, geez. Give me a sec. We always have a party or groups of people that say they're for the poor and they want all these social programs. But the amount of money that was set, and I understand the reasoning. That's the old, but the funny thing is it's back to the old days of nation building and fighting our enemies by proxy. That's like old Cold War stuff that at the time the Democratic Party was completely against. It's just like things have flipped now. It's just kind of weird. The Democratic Party was completely against the tampering and other people's stuff and, fighting these wars, these proxy wars all over and just dabbling. And it's kind of like the opposite now, which is insane. But yeah, that money definitely could have been used, for a lot of good social programs. So it is what it is. But at the same time, like I said, all this is so nuanced. I'm just going to back it up to the chorus. Okay.
are coming from the left. I think black lives matter, they think white lives matter less. And LGBTQ turned into WTF. Dear Democrats, I don't have nothing against the liberal, but the people representing you are communists and criminals. They've been starting World War III, we shipping missiles still. They don't want America great, they want it miserable. You can try to burn down the city, scream at the top of your lungs till you're dizzy. You can cancel everything and everybody in it, but it's not your America.
You can burn the flag, get aggressive. You can wear a mask and pretend you're progressive. I got my First Amendment, don't forget I got the second. It's not your America.
Wow.
I'm here.
I already hear the argument's going to come. They're like, oh, by your America, it's not your America. They mean it's, you know, America for white people or the neo-Nazis. And that's not what they're saying. What they're saying is the elitists, the people in the government that are pushing these agendas, it's not their America. It's the people. I talk to people from all walks of life every day, and we have so much in common. Most of the people in this country, the majority of people in this country don't agree with all this insane stuff that's going on. This is stuff pushed by elites on both sides, both parties, and by the media and by, you know, like I said, the elites, basically the rich and the industrial complex and things of that sort. They don't represent America. We represent America. All of us, all races, all creeds, all colors, all sexual orientations, all everything. We're America. They're not America. That's what they're saying. Not because I know that this is going to get spun in that direction, and that's not what they're saying. So don't do it. I know you're going to. You're going to try. Don't do it.
Don't you do it!
Aggressive. You can wear a mask and pretend you're progressive. I got my First Amendment, don't forget I got the second. It's not your America. I'm hearing words I never heard in life. Kids go to school to learn, never make it back home, they get murdered. Like, who's concerned? Not the left or the right. Hope you ready for the fight. Coming to your front door tonight, the former president.
Okay. I got to be careful here because this could get me in trouble. As Adam said, both sides really don't care. Both sides use tragedy to push agendas. If they wanted to solve this problem, they could solve this problem. There's a million, and I don't care which side you're on, there's a million different ways this problem could be solved. I mean, it's basic. The kids have to be safe in school. Basic. And we can't do basic things. How many judges get murdered every year? Anyone? Not many. But how many school kids get shot? That's ridiculous. You know why? Because judges got security. Judges got a lot of protection. Judges work in fortresses. Not that I want our kids to work in fortresses, but if we take even a drastic step to stop this, and then people will learn that if you do that, you're going to get dealt with immediately, and then people aren't going to do it. I mean, that's the whole thing. There has to be a deterrent to that, and then it'll go away. Like I said, I got to watch what I say, but, you know, this wasn't even a question when I was growing up. And there were those things that people use, that people want to get rid of, all over the school. There was in the vehicles in the parking lot, and guarantee the teachers had them everywhere, and no one ever thought for a second to do something like that. So I mean, there's a lot of things, but it's a problem. We just let the problem go on because both sides can use the tragedy as fuel for their agendas, period. And I don't know what's controversial about what I said, so I hope that doesn't get me in trouble, but
To learn, never make it back home, they get murdered like. Who's concerned, not the left or the right? Hope you ready for the fight, coming to your front door tonight. The former president got arrested, the current one lost, but I guess he got elected. Kids get molested, pedophiles all get protected, and you can kill a baby anytime if you pregnant. People so weak, feel free to take a knee, and you can't even speak, God forbid you disagree. I don't even know what virtual signaling means. Young men used to fight wars, now they make memes. Divide us up, I'm pretty sure that's the plan. Got a gun in my hand for when shit hits the fan. And how the woman of the year is a man, I'm pretty sure I never really understand.
Okay, a lot to unpack there. Trying to think back what he said here. I'm not touching the A word thing. That's nuanced, super nuanced. I'm not touching it. I don't remember. I gotta run it back. I don't know what he said.
Front door tonight, the former president got arrested. The current one lost, but I guess he got elected. Kids get.
Is that Adam begrudgingly giving up on the whole thing? I mean, is that him finally just saying, okay, well, he got elected? Are we finally giving in? Is that... Oh... That's another topic that is super nuanced. Super, super nuanced. And, I could be here for 20 minutes, a half an hour, and upset everyone by going over that whole thing. I'd upset both sides. So, we'll just move on. See what else Adam's got for us.
Molested, pedophiles all get protected, and you can kill a baby anytime if you pregnant.
How can they just not release that evidence? What have they even given a justification why they haven't released the evidence? How can they just do it? No, we're just not going to do it. How do we let that happen? That's the thing about it now, is that there's so much craziness and we're so busy with all the nonsense that, like, real stuff happens and it just gets overlooked. It just gets overlooked. I mean, not just that, but then they were talking about aliens. No one cares. Nobody cares. Like, they could have like 20 ETs on the Capitol stairs and no one would care. It's insane. I can't believe I'm living in this world. I honestly don't. It's like I've lost my mind. I'm almost convinced that somewhere along the road we verged off into an alternate timeline, and I'm the lucky one that got to stay in this, got to be in this timeline, where the original me is living his life all happy and free and whatever, and I'm the lucky one that gets to be in this bizarro world that we live in. Oh man.
Pedophiles all get protected, and you can kill a baby anytime if you pregnant. People so weak, feel free to take a knee, and you can't even speak, God forbid you disagree. I don't even know what virtual signaling means. Young men used to fight wars, now they make memes. Divide us up, I'm pretty sure that's the plan. Got a gun in my hand for when shit hits the fan. And how the woman of the year is a man, I'm pretty sure I never really understand.
We're rehashing some old topics. How long's it been since that happened? The Woman of the Year thing? That's been 4 or 5 years ago. Here's the problem. These little things, and a lot of stuff they're saying is very important, but there's these little distraction stories that get way too much coverage, way too much. I mean, who cares what so-and-so magazine does, and who cares? I mean, did you care when they were naming, you know, Julia Roberts Woman of the Year? Did you care? So, I mean, they just did it to sell magazines or whatever. Those are distractions that, you know, just basically they distract us from the important stuff. So, yeah, that stuff doesn't, you know, it is what it is. It doesn't really affect me anyway.
You can try to burn down the city, scream at the top of your lungs till you're dizzy. You can cancel everything and everybody in it, but it's not your America.
You can burn the flag, get aggressive. You can wear a mask mask and pretend you're progressive. I got my First Amendment, don't forget I got the second. It's not your America.
I like that line. You can wear a mask and pretend you're progressive. But in the while championing progression, they're stomping on the First Amendment. They're stomping on, liberties. That's not moving forward. That's moving backwards. That's definitely not progression. Speech is violence, which is just utterly ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The only people that say speech is violence are people that haven't been around actual violence. That's insane. Yeah, so I love that line because that's so true. It's like, oh, we're progressive. Regressive. Maybe progressive in some ways. And this is, like I said, when I say this stuff, it's not about a whole group of people. It's not about Democrats. It's not about Republicans. It's not about this. It's about the certain groups that push these agendas. So I love everybody. I love all my Democrat friends and all my Republican friends. But it's about agendas.
Aggressive. You can wear a mask and pretend you're progressive. I got my First Amendment, don't forget I got the second. It's not your America.
You told us we're the ones to blame, but you're the ones who riot till the city's up in flames. You told us we've been spreading lies, but you believe the truth is on the news every night. You told us we gotta stop the fighting, but you're the ones who keep the country angry and divided. You told us we're crazier than you, but all of our conspiracy theories are coming true. You can try to burn down the city, scream at...
Not all of them, but some of them. And that was just, powers that be holding stories back until whatever they needed was done. And then it was okay to not hide them. But, yeah. But not all of them. Just because you can't just say, because there's some crazy conspiracy theories out there. But, yeah. But his problem is when you label anything that's in opposition to your agenda as a conspiracy theory, then it just muddies the water. Either everything's crazy or everything's right. It kind of muddies the water. So I just enjoy if we all would just join together in reality once again and stop existing in this fantasy land that we've all, not all of us, but some of us have concocted.
And divided. You told us we're crazier than you, but all of our conspiracy theories are coming true. You can try to burn down the city, scream at the top of your lungs till you're dizzy. You can cancel everything and everybody in it, but it's not your America.
You can burn the flag, get aggressive. You can wear a mask and pretend you're progressive. I got my First Amendment, don't forget I got the second. It's not your America.
All right, those hand gestures are aggressive. Okay, so what was nice, I really loved doing this channel, and it was nice knowing you because I'm going to be canceled after this video. And we talk about the First Amendment, freedom of speech, and people rail. That's also a huge nuanced argument or talk. People rail that, oh, well, on this platform, I'm not allowed to say this, I'm not allowed to say that. Yes, that's true. In a perfect world, that wouldn't be the case. But the conservative in me says it's a private company. The private company is allowed to conduct business however they may seem, as long as they're not discriminating against the basic things like race, religion. Political views are not one of those protected categories. So, like I said, that's the thing about me that's a problem, is that, and I said this before, on a lot of these topics, I have very nuanced opinions. And I've always been a logical person, so I've always really looked at issues and things. I've looked at them from both sides, and I can find logical arguments on both sides. I mean, so basically at that point, I got to make a educated guess, hypothesis, or, using the scientific theory, and use my experience, use my understanding of human nature, and use history and past things to come to a conclusion. But saying that, once again, the fact that I'm able to understand the other side's argument, nothing's cut and dry. Things are not black and white. And the problem is that discourse has died. And most of these subjects, most of these issues require a nuanced and a understanding and ability to talk openly and come together to come to consensus. And I know the great Martin Luther King said that a real leader doesn't All right, guys, I appreciate you joining me today. Once again, probably the last time you're seeing me. But before you do, you can please hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 20,000 before the end of the year. Check out my other avenues, my Patreon, super thanks, and you will probably not see me again. Peace and love.